G'day, Aussie Bonsai Bloke here, how you going? We've got a bit of wind, so if there's some microphone noise, sorry about that, guys. Today's video, well, first of all, a bit of an update. You know, it's been hot, haven't been doing any videos, it's been hot, really windy, and, you know, just been busy. But to be honest, I've just been a bit lazy, haven't done any videos. Still on my diet, drinking just black coffee. Not great, but you get used to it. Black coffee and one meal a day, the old OMAD diet. No beer, no alcohol. So, she's been a pretty crazy few weeks, 3 or 4 weeks on the diet. 3 weeks, I don't know. 2 weeks properly, I think. But anyway, pretty hard work, but I'm getting there slowly. So anyway, been a bit slack, been a bit lazy. And today's video, I thought what we could do for a good video, getting back into it, rather than work on a tree, let's have a bit of a tour, bit of an update on how everything is going. Like I say, there's a bit of wind around. It is generally blowing over the top because we've got a big fence behind you there, but you will get some noise, I'm sorry. And I haven't done any work on these since the last video I put out, so been a bit slack, but let's have a bit of an update on it all. Oh, and not only are we going to have an update on it all, we're also going to, at the end of the video, stick around, make sure you stick around, because we're going to have some pictures of some viewers' trees. Thanks to everyone that sent in pictures of their trees. Today's the day that you get to see them up here on the YouTube channel, because we're going to bloody put her up today. So I'll stop being slack and try and get at least 2 videos out a week now. It'll be a happy medium. I think 7 a week's just asking a bit much from this slack old Aussie Bonsai Bloke. He's a bit slack for that. So let's get to it and let's have a tour. And after the tour, stick around for the viewers' pics of their trees. No worries, cheers. Well, also, a special thanks to Nom. She's a mum with a few kids, and she's been watching me channel, watched all the videos of all the trees, and sent me a really nice email. So thanks for that, Nom. Much appreciated. And I enjoy making the videos for you. No worries. Let's get to it, and let's have a look around. Oh, and also, while we're doing shout outs, Lance Richards, I think he sent me a picture of a tree as well, but he's been a long time viewer right from the start, and he's watched every single video that I made. So good on you, mate. Cheers for the support. Hope you keep watching. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's do a tour of the trees. This is going to be pretty good fun. There's been some ups and downs, but I think I'm sinking. I think the chair leg is sinking in the mud. Phil come here. We sat under the shade cloth here, on a hot day, and he sunk in the mud, nearly fell right over. So you'll get a bit of a laugh out of that one, old Phil. Anyway, let's get to the tour. Enough yabbering on. Ah, man, never gets old. Black coffee, bloody beautiful. Right, I just noticed the tree's falling over here, so I'll just straighten that one up first. It means it's not getting watered. Damn. I've actually been slack. My irrigation system's been working, but I've only been just popping my head around the corner every now and then. I haven't really been keeping a good eye on it, which is not great. I've just been seeing whether the moss is green, basically, on some of the trees, and that's it. And if the moss was green, I was like, yeah, she's good, and that was it. So, you know, occasionally I just get over it, lose interest for a week or 2, but then you just got to get back on it, go again. Right, so we'll start right from here, work all the way around there, under the shade. Can't wait to get under there. Oh, that's another thing. At the moment, She's about 35, 36 degrees. As you can see, a lot of bees. See all these bees? All having a suck. Good old suckle of the water. Bloody beauty, mate. Get into it, boys. Get into it. No, girls. Sorry. Sorry, girls. Please don't bite. This is me just high on coffee and life. No alcohol at all. Right. Okay, so the first one that we're looking at. Oh, thought I seen something move there. Might have thought it was a snake. First thing that we're looking at here is the collected ton-beer olive. This thing, I'll tell you what, weighs an absolute ton, this tree. Absolute ton. Anyway, that one was collected with Laurie at the quarry, the wild collection video, and as you can see, she's putting out shoots everywhere. She's just going nuts. Just absolutely everywhere shoots. Right out to the tips. So that's really cool to see. That's what we need to see. Olives that, you know, when you know they're going to shoot, they get these like pimple things here, and then out of there, you know, 3 or 4 shoots come from each one. And it's doing that all over the whole tree. So that's really cool. Really good to see. Back trunk, same thing. Starting to shoot out here. So that's really cool. So that's that one. The forest of apricot. Also doing really well. Did a video on that one. The new leaves are actually a little bit deformed. Might have got some aphids in there, I reckon. I might have to spray it. Could be some aphids. Bugger. Anyway, not too bad. This is an Australian native stock plant, just growing in a pot. Me olive back here that needs some work on it. I'll really try to show you some of these trees, but it's going to be hard. That's a really nice olive, got a really good base to it, but very hard to show you from where I am here. There's flies as well. This is a what do you call this one? Bottle brush. Boxthorn. This is my boxthorn, spiky boxthorn that I collected a long time ago. Well, maybe 8 months ago, where I did that video, the mystery dig. It's got a lot of growth on it. Looking really good, really healthy. Shoots everywhere. There's the soil there that I sprayed with some spray. We won't talk about that too much. Very sensitive topic. There's a olive in the back. That's completely covered in weeds. Needs some work. That one I collected off a bridge a long time ago. And to be honest, I've lost interest in it. It's a piece of crap. But one day, we'll get back to it. It's got some sentimental value because there's quite a story behind getting a ladder and going and collecting it off top of a bridge. It was a natural bonsai. Here we have the, I guess you could call it a Indian flame tree, maybe, something like that. It's looking super healthy this year, so that's pretty cool. Really nice growth all over it. And that'll be a shade tree eventually, I hope. The only problem is in winter. I'll show you what happens in winter. This one here was growing well, got burnt in the frost all the way back to stump. Now it's got to reshoot again. So unfortunately that seems to happen a lot. The wisteria. This is me wisteria. Now the lighting's not going to be perfect because I'm sort of half shooting into the sun on a lot of these shots. And I'm not going to move the trees around just to be able to show you better, but I hope you get the idea. So this is the wisteria. It's all shot out really well. Got new shoots all over it. I've got to get in here and trim it back, but it's going really This is a Turkish oak, needs some work by the looks. So that's a Turkish oak with a nice trunk under there. And a lot of new growth. And that needs another cut back, so that's pretty cool. Me 65-year-old olive here. You can see we're going to do some work on that as well. Hopefully very soon. I had a lot of issues with styling and stuff on that one at the start, but I think I've got an idea on that one now, so that one should progress pretty soon. Here's a pomegranate that I still have not worked this year at all. It's got a decent sized trunk in here. And just hope that you can see it. This camera is really, I don't know, hot days, this camera seems to struggle. So that's quite a fat base between my two fingers there. It just picks up on everything but what you want it to on a hot day. It's better on cold days. Another olive, one that I carved out. Got to do some training on that one as well. Still in the original black pot. A few weeds. Kunzia at the back. Still got some old flowers on it. I've got to trim that back now past the old flowers. And I've just got it growing in here to fatten up basically, but it's getting inverse taper down here, so we'll see what we can do about it later. But it's getting a nice trunk on it. Trees are that packed in here that I can't really get in close to each one to have a good look. Here's the peach tree. Remember that peach tree that I worked on? That needs another cut back. That's just a fruiting peach, normal peach. Here's a Jap maple, needs some more work. Looks like the bottom of the pot isn't draining, it's just full of water, so I've got to do something about that pretty soon. Drill a few holes in the side of this black pot, because it's just going to be stagnant water soon. And that's got a really nice trunk to it. Pretty hard to see. The daughter's fig tree here. Another plum. This is a plum tree. Maybe I should have waited another day for filming, because with this sun out it's very hard to get a good picture. Now this one here I just straightened up. You can see how wilted the leaves are all over the tree. Most of these leaves will survive okay, but it had fallen over, so you can see how much it shrunk inside the pot. So I've got to soak that now, get it wet again, so that you know, it can regrow and whatever. This is a apricot tree which for some reason just decided it wanted to die this year. I've got no idea why. It was growing fine and it even shot out in spring, and now it's dead. So who knows what happened with that one. Another native. Most of my natives are pretty small, by the way, because I'm trying to grow them up in pots and then make them bigger and bigger, and I've only had most of them for a year, so it's going to take a while before I get some good natives going, but that's my aim in the future, to get a heap of natives going. That's a leptospermum something or other. Who knows? Tag's worn out. This is my mallee style bottle brush. Going good. Check that base. It's so hard to see what I'm filming because I can't even see the lens of the... I can't even see what the camera is recording really, it's too bright. Okay. Here's another Australian native in a pot, trying to fatten it up. Decent size, height wise, not so much the trunk. Here's another one here. This is the other Melaleuca that I did with the really cool twisted trunk. So that one's shooting out again. So you can see all new shoots coming out. So she's happy, she's healthy and doing well. Here's another leptospermum, I think. Stop picking up on stuff you're not meant to be filming, camera. What's wrong with you, mate? You should know what I'm trying to film. Problem is, there you go. So let's go get a nice bark. Problem is, you put it on manual focus and then it has trouble with everything else. Okay, the kids' box, one of the kids' box trees. I've got to repot that one into a bigger pot. You've seen us do the one, but there's another one that needs doing. It's a pretty cool tree. Got a good base to it, but you can't really see it in all that mess. This is an air-layered kumquat. Air-layered kumquat tree. Got some kumquats on here. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. It's also got some flowers for this next year's, next year's crop. And if you look around hard enough, there's even some baby crop already starting. So that'll be next year's crop, or next year. Yeah, next year. There's more here. Another one here. Pretty cool. So that's really cool. So I've got to get into developing that one now. It's recovered from its air layer. It did struggle for a long time, but as you can see now, she's getting really bushy, really healthy, putting out a lot of shoots everywhere. So I've got to really do a good video on that one and choose the shoots. It'll look pretty crappy after I'm finished, but there's also stuff curling up leaves here as well. Who knows what, but it's all happening. Everything's happening. Another olive full of weeds. It's a really nice big fat trunk on that one. So it's another olive. Got to do some work on that one. Some of the branches right up here. Here's another cool olive. This is my Sleepy Hollow olive. Hope you can see that. I can't really see what the camera's doing. I really apologise if a lot of this is blurry, because I can't see what the camera's doing in the sun, and the camera's actually getting really hot. So here's another olive here, full of weeds again, but growing on the side of a stump, and it's still part of the original stump, and it's growing on the side of the stump, so that's really cool. Get into that one soon. So as you can see, I've got a lot of potential videos I've got to do. Here's the Melaleuca forest that I've started from seedlings. Obviously a few weeds in here, but a lot of Melaleuca as well. So I've got to do a bit of weeding there. Won't be spraying no Roundup on that one. Not with them little trees in there. So here's the olive that I dug up with a screwdriver. Very hard to capture it all, but there you go. And that I did spray with Roundup, and as you can see, all the weeds have died, and tree still looking fine and dandy. There's the plum. It's been attacked by something, but who knows what. Whatever that beetle or bug is in there. I think it's a caterpillar. Could be the light brown apple moth maybe. Okay, here's another olive here. This is the one that I did the bark treatment on. And I'll show you this bark treatment. This one here. You have a look here. Look at that bark. It's really, really filled in with nice bark now, all the way up. Just hope hope the camera's focused so you can see it. So that's okay, so that sandpaper looked like it worked. This is a peppercorn tree. Really healthy new growth. I also sprayed that one with Roundup. I know I shouldn't keep saying it, but I did. And as you can see next to it, one not sprayed, green as grass. This one brown as brown. All the way around. Tree, 100%. I was really careful spraying it, so I didn't have much of a doubt in my mind, but still very risky. Maybe I should use something like Slasher or something next time. But anyway, really healthy, cool pepper tree. I'll show you the trunk. Really cool trunk. Really love the pepper tree. Here we got a hawthorn. Probably could do with another dripper on this side. It's pretty dry on that side. Seems to use a lot of water, so I might do that after. As you can see, it's looking mighty fine. We did a video on that one, giving it a trim. It's looking really good. Here's a avocado tree in the ground here. This one here will be used for shade also, along with that Indian, what do you call them, flower tree, flame tree, something like that. This laurel is absolutely loving being in the shade this year. You have a look at that really nice shiny growth on it. It's absolutely beautiful growth. It's got a decent trunk also. And that's also one that I sprayed. You can see all the weeds are dead. And the top is just so shiny and lush. Beautiful. This is a, who knows? I'll think of it eventually. Has big flowers anyway. Gets big flowers on it. So it's cool. Here's a pomegranate that we worked on. It's got beautiful structure. Really nice structure. Camellia, that's it. That's a camellia. Now look at this thing here going. This here, lemon tree. Look at the roots on that. Big root base. Really big base. Few divisions in the trunk. Very hard to see, but have a look at the size of the leaves on that at the moment. Look at that. Really healthy. Look at the new growth. Very shiny, healthy. Beautiful. Here's the little Chinese elm that we worked on a while back. Not that long ago. It's only a week and a bit ago. So that's pretty cool. You can see all the bees as well. All the lady bees. Look at them all having a good old suckle. Pity that's not beer, eh guys? I know the same feeling, guys. I've been drinking water and coffee too. So that's starting to put out new shoots. Look at that. I tell you what, it's extremely hard. The dieting, the hardest part of dieting is no beer. I tell you, going without beer or alcohol just sucks big time. Here's a silver birch. So I can't wait till we get to do our next full-on video, half cut with the beer, make it a bit more fun. But for now, we'll stick to these sober ones. Look at that silver birch, just beautiful. You can see in the trunk there, absolutely beautiful. Just got to be careful not to piss off these bees because, to be honest, These are wild from out in the trees. These aren't someone's beehive. These are living out in the paddock in the trees, so they don't see too many people out in the middle of nowhere here. So they may not be happy with me. And the flies, just the flies as well. Not sitting on my face, just sitting on all the trees, trying to keep cool. Here's another one full of weeds. Really big base. It's a big olive. And you can see really healthy. Needs another working soon, so we'll get on to that. Another Kunzia grown a stock. Not much of a base to it yet, but one day it will be. And it's just growing along fine. Here's a swamp paperbark. See if I can show you the base on that one. It's starting to fatten up. So the base on that one is, you know, it's nearly as fat as my thumb. Here's a gooseberry mallee. Gonna try doing that one as a bonsai. Gooseberry mallee, never tried it before. It's just starting to fatten up a bit. A honey myrtle. Another honey myrtle there. I've potted them up into bigger containers so that they hopefully grow. Now here's the biggest disappointment out of everything. This tree here was a long dig with me and Laurie. And I tell you what, I'm starting to... Olives can take up to a year to grow, but why I'm worried about this one is when we did dig it, I didn't say anything at the time, but it had a few yellow leaves on top, like it had been recently sprayed with Roundup the whole tree, or blackberry killer or something like that. Just had a few, yet the bottom was all green, so I thought, no, maybe it's alright, maybe it'll be okay. But so far, this one we kept a bigger bulb on the bottom, so it should have had more energy than this one behind me, because this one here, you remember, that was just cut as a cutting, a big tree cutting right at the stump, and that one's grown back fine. And that's how I should have expected this one to go. So we kept a bigger bulb and more roots on this one. And so far, I can't see any swelling. It's not too late, but it is drying back, which is a really bad sign. If they start drying back, you know, they're still green. So there's still hope. You can see that green. And that's a good way to check with an olive. If there's still green underneath the bark, there's always hope. But what worries me is this dying back. Oh, well, that bit's still green, so that this bit might be okay. But I've scratched other bits on the tree and they certainly are not. So who knows, we might get it could create interest if some of it dies and some of it survives with some live veins and stuff going up it. We don't know. Okay, so there's still green up here, so there is hope. This gives me a bit of hope. I haven't really scratched it this much before. Okay, it's green up there, green there. No, maybe we'll be okay. It's just a bit slower. Might be a slow one, or maybe it did have a little bit of Roundup on it and it's just trying to grow out of it. But I did notice this trunk here, if I have a scratch, is brown. Pretty hard to scratch when it's dead, but see, it's going brown, a browny green there, and then you can work your way further down and see this is brown. That's brown all the way back there on this trunk at the back. To be honest, it's probably a trunk that could go if it dies. It probably wouldn't matter so much. Okay, but don't really want it to. And I can't see. Okay, so this one's brown too, so that's bad. A bit over here. I reckon that's brown too, so that's really bad. If only that's brown. Yeah, see what I mean? This whole side of the tree here might die, and we might only be left with this main trunk, maybe. And if that's the case, that trunk on its own is not going to make a great tree. It'll make an okay tree, but I really wanted a nice big tree, and it's looking bad. Anyway, we got some other olives anyway. More bees. Bees are moving in more and more. It's getting hotter and hotter. We did have a 40-degree day the other day, so that's pretty crazy. See if we can annoy him. Hopefully not too much. Okay, so here's the olive that we repotted and trimmed back. Still haven't found any moss for it. It's growing well. It's got new shoots on it even since we cut it back the other day. Another Australian native. Getting bigger. Here's some replants for out in the paddock for the dead ones. Here's a chain of hearts, which I collected some bulbs from, and it looks like some of the bulbs are shooting out some nice shoots now, so that chain of hearts should end up pretty good in the long run. Here we have another massive olive. Very hard to see in there, but it's a massive olive with a big trunk. It's just so hard to see in there. You can see down the middle of this trunk. Obviously got to do some more work on that one. Seems to be the story of my life. You do 15 videos in 15 days, but that's not enough to catch up when you got probably 100 trees. Here's a blue atlas cedar. I think someone wanted to have an update on that one, so here you go. Blue atlas cedar, as you can see, all the growth all over it now. When I first cut it back, there was hardly any growth on it. Some of the shoots have elongated as long as my hand now, and it's really healthy, growing really well. So really happy with that one. Blue atlas cedar, going really well. Here's the ash tree. It's me ash. It's got a beautiful trunk. So, you know, if that other olive ends up dying, I've got a lot of other stuff, so it's not the end of the world, but it was a lot of effort if it does. I just feel like it may have been sprayed with Roundup. Look at the long shoots on this one. Beautiful. And here's my very first original bonsai that I ever owned. That's an ash tree. Probably 30 years old now, you know. Would have been a good 15 years when I bought it, and look at the bark starting to form. This is all in a pot. Look at the bark starting to form on that now. This was from a cutting years ago and grown in a small pot its whole life. So it's really good. This second trunk here, which I decided to grow because actually one single tree that's laid over a bit, is 11. That's 11 years old, just that one trunk. This one here is probably 30. So you can see the difference in the bark. So that's my original tree, still going strong. The coral bark maple with a beautiful root base. Okay, so we did a trim on that one not long ago, and you can see all the new growth in there everywhere. So that's really cool to see. You can see the new growth is a lot more red than the old growth. The old growth goes green pretty quick. Okay, so then we're back to the hawthorn. We nearly finished the tour really, so just hang in there. So here we have the plum. I hope you guys can see that. Here's the devil's plum. The one that literally only grew for about 3 to 4 years in the ground and got a massive base on it. Now I'll put my arm behind it. I hope you can see some sort of reference there, because I can't even see my screen. But anyway, it's got really nice shoots and whatever on that, really healthy. Been attacked by the same thing the other plum has been. I'd say light brown apple moth, could be something else, who knows. I don't even know what's in there. Oh yeah, looks like an Australian native trying to survive in all the weeds. Creeping oxalis. So there's a bit of a base in there, but this bloody creeping oxalis crap. Bloody hell. You can see why. I don't like weeds. Okay, here's a crepe myrtle. Really good crepe myrtle. Super condition. I did a trim on that a while ago, you would have seen. Just a really, really good tree. What else we got? We got the, this is the sheep eating olive. Done some videos on. This one here literally was hollowed out by termites and chewed back by sheep, and it almost looked like it does now when I first collected it. Not quite. Really cool. Here's the big olive, biggest tree by far. This here was you know, started working on 10 years ago. You can see how big that trunk is. This is also another one that I sprayed. The tree itself's fine, it's really healthy. Lots of shoots. It's an olive. A really cool tree. And yeah, I just grew everything from a stump. Just got the stump. Everything's been grown from a stump. So really cool. That's a dead she oak. Dried out. I gave it some water, but it's not coming back. It's got this other thing in the pot. I don't know what it is. Maybe someone will know. But that's in the pot with it. So I thought maybe I'll just let it grow just for that one. See what happens. Try and find a good leaf just to show you. Okay. I have no idea what it is, but that's growing in there. Pretty boring trunk. Here we got the forest of olives, olive forest. And as you can see, like I say, this main tree is a lot more yellow than the other trees on the side. Always has been. We'll see what happens. It's still got little shoots on it, so who knows. So it's pretty cool. Really cool. Love this one. It was just spur of the moment. I had a heap of crappy trees and I just chucked them together and put them in there. I think someone wanted me to cut that off, but I quite like it being there. Beautiful. Okay, how we going here? This is this ugly looking silver birch that we cut back. It's got that weird trunk, the ugly duckling. Look at the new growth on it. Crazy new growth all over it. Yeah, so sorry about the dodgy camera work. I can't really see what I'm videoing too well at all. A couple of natives that I'm growing on in here. I forget what they are. I think they could, no, I don't know what they are. Might be gooseberry mallee. Gooseberry mallee. Maybe not. Who knows? Here's the hawthorn forest. That thing's cranking along pretty well. Really healthy. Nice big tree. This is from the back, not the front. Really cool. That's the Melaleuca linearifolia or something like that, that I had growing in the water with the gravel, and I repotted. I've kept it in some sort of semi-shade here under the shade cloth, and you'll see all these new shoots look fine, so I reckon she's survived. I collected it without too many roots, and a lot of them were rotted, and I've just kept it in this pot. Stayed pretty moist the whole time, and you know, looks like a success. So it's got a really nice trunk on it. Okay, this is a Chinese elm that I did some work on, and got this really straight ugly branch which I'm going to keep just to be a clown. I know everyone wants me to chop it off, but I'm keeping it. And that's the Chinese elm. As you can see, it shot back pretty well after that hard cutback. Needs another cutback. A trident maple. Okay, it's got a bit of a base on it. It's got really good roots. You can't see them now, but it actually has got really good roots. Got that from Jared. So that's going pretty well. This is a crepe myrtle. Very, very big crepe myrtle. Well, for me, you know, most of my crepe myrtles are pretty small, so really nice to have a bigger one. Just wish this camera would pick up, you know, better. Beautiful. Okay, here's another olive. Plenty of olives. This one here I collected from my brother's place maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Quite a big trunk. A lot of wire biting in. I've got to get it under control. And a bit of growth. I've got to get onto that one. So that one there's going. The box thorn that we collected, ripped it out with a ute. No shoots yet, keeping it moist. See how she goes. But at the moment she's going bloody good, just sitting and chilling. One shoot did pop out almost straight away, but whether or not it'll keep that, who knows. Who knows? Let's see. Here's another Melaleuca of some description. Really, really small leaves on this one, baby. Okay, Japanese red pine. Also sprayed that one with the old Roundup. Killed the weeds. Not the tree. The tree's fine. Got plenty of shoots. I'm gonna have to do some work on that one soon, because you've got to cut back all the old candles from this year so that it can have a second flush. Red gum. You know, I'm just pointing and shooting. I don't even know whether half of this stuff's on frame. So this one here's got 2 sprays in it, and it still dries out the quickest. So that's I guess a raft clump sort of style. The base goes all the way along here and joins up to here. There used to be there used to be 5 or 6 trunks, maybe even 7, but some have died, like this one died. They do drop branches. Red gum, Australian river red gum. Pretty cool. This is my almond tree. It's going good. It dropped all its almonds, but that's alright. It must have, you know, needed a rest, so it's dropped all the almonds, but The leaves look good this year, so that's good. Got a nice base on it. And for some reason that pot hardly ever needs weeding, it's always good. This is my mulberry tree. See how healthy that thing looks this year. When it cools down, I am going to do another fertilise of everything. See if we can see some mulberries. There's a mulberry there. Quite a few mulberries on here, but you just can't see them very well. You will when they turn, you know, red and purple looking. That's a really cool tree, really happy with that one. Chinese elm, we're looking at the back. It's the back of the tree. Did some work on that not very long ago. Bugger all ago, really. And you remember I had those really big long shoots on it and I cut them back hard. Then I put some glue on that one. Have a look at the shoots already shooting out from that, and that wasn't that long ago. So when you get those big fat branches, when they shoot back really hard. And then I'll let that grow out and then chop that back when they get nice and hard. There's that one that was in the water. Another shot of the base from the back. So yeah, really happy with how that Chinese elm's going. It's one of those trees that just develop so fast on their own. Here's another one that developed pretty well on its own. That's an olive. Beautiful base to it. And that was just cut straight across here as a trunk. And then everything's been grown since I chopped it. So that's pretty cool, doing well. Okay, here we got the bottle brush. I sprayed these weeds as well. Mostly they did, but a few didn't die. And there's the bottle brush. As you can see, the bottle brush is actually in flower now. Still a heap of other buds that I've got to open up, a heap of flowers. But it's actually starting to get into full flower. So that's really cool. I might even pull that one aside and just put a separate photo in here, if I can get a good photo of it. But really happy with how that one's going. Not sure whether it's at its maximum flowering yet, but I might take a photo now just in case it doesn't get better. That's actually the back of it. I'll just spin it round. I think that's the front. Doing really well. So we're pretty well to the end. It's been a long video, I know, but I thought I'd just do a detailed thing on how everything's going. So here's the apple tree, which I also sprayed. You can see just how massive it is. That thing's, I don't know, at least 4, maybe even not 5, at least 4 foot tall. I'll just show you how healthy that thing is. Get the shine on the leaf. And then the new shoots, just pristine. Really healthy. It did flower a lot, as you can see in here. There's some old flower buds on the old gill. Oh, here we go. There's an apple, be nearly an inch across now. There must be some more. There you go, here's another one. Had a lot of flower buds on it, so you would think you'd get some apples. Mind you, there's no other apple tree in the vicinity here, so I'm not sure how it gets apples without any other apple trees. The kids do have some in the garden that they grew from seed, but they have not flowered yet, so I'm not sure how, but it's pollinated a few of them. Obviously not that many, but when the ones in the garden flower, we should start to get more and more apples. Okay, so there's a few on it, not an overabundance of them, but there's a few. So yeah, really healthy. Pretty cool, man, pretty cool. The old bottle brush, apple tree. Awesome. I'll tell you what, I love just sitting under here on a hot day in amongst the trees. Just beautiful. As you can see, it's just a forest of green, trees everywhere. No worries. Cheers for watching, Aussie Bonsai Bloke. Stick around for the photos at the end of people's trees. Please like, share, subscribe. Send in some more pics to sdoki@hotmail.com. I'll put an email in the description. Send in some more pics and I'll keep up with some viewer pics. But for now, signing out. Cheers for watching. Tell your mates about the channel and I'll catch you next time. Cheers. Put it down on its own.